generational wealth, part of our wealth management plan. And just, there's a clarity is kindness, right? It's a great phrase. Clarity is kindness. And so when you're developing an estate plan, the more details you can have in a will or a trust document, which as executor, those are the tools we use to help work through an estate and work through transition of wealth. So I love that. Clarity is kindness. And so having those documents up to date and clear, what intentions are, working with your CPA, working with your relationship manager, and also attorneys that understand trust and understand establishing that good, strong foundation to transfer your wealth responsibly. So what do you see with that being the parameter? Some details to that would benefit our clients.
Well, I think it's important that you have clear guidelines and that you are transparent with your wishes, that you express everything openly and honestly whenever you're setting up this estate. I think it's also important that you remember to keep your information updated. In fraud, we can run into issues where we cannot find a phone number. It's easy to change phone numbers nowadays, whereas used to you had a number for your lifetime. Well, with cell phones, and with fraud, sometimes people change their numbers to avoid the spam calls, and it's important to keep that information updated. As I speak, I realize that I need to update my information because my kids are no longer minors. So my information as we talk is a good reminder to me that my information is a little outdated. So I need to get that updated. But something that you set up 20 years from now may not be the same instance. Your beneficiaries may change. There could be tragedy. There could be separations. There could be a lot of different reasons why you need to update your beneficiary. But I think that we at times just kind of forget about things like that. And it's important that we, have reminders that if there's something that's kind of life-altering that changes, then you need to look at who your beneficiaries are and make sure that that's still who you want to receive this inheritance. For the people that are getting the money or the inheritance, I think it's important that we talked about, technology literacy, but it's financial literacy is important too, that they understand, what's going to happen, what their responsibilities are and who their trusted sources are.
With social media out there now, and social media, it's once again, there's always the benefit and there's the curse of it, but like there's a lot of bad information out there.
There is.
You've got influencers. Once again, that's probably another type of fraud, is someone that's charismatic and talking like they know what they're
absolutely
doing, and then next thing you know, you've kind of gone down a trail that might not be in your best interest. And I haven't experienced that yet, but I can see where that's just a window to more and more access.
It is, and that's another situation where AI is hurting people. Before, you could see a fraudulent communication a mile away. The sentence structure was bad, the grammar was bad, and typical terms were not used. For example, a letter may end, kindly, and that's not something we generally use in America. Usually it's thank you, respectfully, different things. And, the sentence structure would be bad, punctuation would be bad, and you could spot it that it was absolutely not a professional email. But now you can put that same thing into an AI platform, ChatGPT or Copilot, and say, make this sound professional. And in a matter of seconds, you have a professional looking document. We've seen this used for fake warrants that, people think that they maybe have some type of warrant for not showing up to jury duty, which generally several of us have missed jury duty, forgotten about it, or didn't go. And all of a sudden now you're like, shame on you. Yeah, I never have. I never have. But it has happened. Okay. So it's important that if people think that something like's going on, reach out to local law enforcement. If you haven't been in any trouble, then there's nothing to be worried about, and you should identify it as a scam. So, kind of got off topic a little bit there, didn't I?
That's okay. I mean, you do this every day, all day, so you got a lot of experience with that. Is there a way? We talked about the progress of AI and the intelligence of AI and how good it's getting. Are there, can you now? It's so good. Are there any key factors that might give it away?
I would say if it's a situation that you haven't been a part of, that should be one. You can actually reverse engineer pictures that they send you. So if they send you a picture, you could cut and paste it into Copilot and have Copilot analyze it, and sometimes it can tell you that appears to be an AI generated image. So you can use that technology to fight the fraud that's going on, but a lot of people don't know that yet. We're behind on, I'm behind on trying to learn AI. It's coming on us pretty fast.
I probably fall within that way behind, and that's why I have you on my team. All right,
and we have younger fraud investigators that are more computer savvy that help us old guys out sometimes.
Yeah. We talk a lot about our team. This morning, our non-negotiable had to do with we, and so we don't all have the same expertise, but together we're really strong.
Yes,
and so being part of that team has been very, very beneficial to me, and just beneficial to our clients.
Oh yeah, the diversity inside the bank is a huge benefit to us. Even with age gap, that is so beneficial.
I once had an employee that was very aggressive, right? Just I want to advance, and I said, hold on. I said, you're very smart. Here's the deal: you get paid for what you know how to do. I get paid for what I know not to do.
Right.
Well, that's like that. That is wisdom that's earned over time.
Absolutely.
And it takes both of us to make it strong. That's strong.
What rabbit holes not to go into.
Mm-hmm. Earlier, I mentioned that our team gives us daily reminders of what to look for and how to address different fraudulent situations. So, Bryan, I'd love you to tell us, and I know you're like, we're all going a bunch of different directions, but what's your day-to-day like? Give us examples of what your team's doing to help engage fraudsters and help protect the client.
Our first goal is to get that information out, like we said earlier. It's to make everyone that works with First Financial to be aware of trends and to get that information out as quickly as possible. We have sent out pictures of suspects attempting to steal other customers' identities. We've gotten their pictures out like a wanted poster to all the regions so they can get out to front line. And we actually had, we've had several of them get arrested for coming back and trying again. And in one instance, the computer, you can see that the person's wanted poster was on the screen while the person was wearing the same clothing at the counter. So they called the police and got them arrested. So it was satisfying. I have to add, it was satisfying. So getting that information out is crucial. It's Frontline needs every tool that they can get with the ever evolving problems. They deal a little bit less with the AI and more with the in-person situations. So it's important that we give them tools. And one tool that we gave them that is new it's called a fraud awareness questionnaire. And what that is, we want that to be used whenever a person is making a large withdrawal of cash or a withdrawal for purchasing a wire. If these are out of the ordinary for the account history, then we want to ask some questions. And sometimes that makes our customers upset. They feel that we're being nosy. And it's not nosy. It's just trying to be aggressive to the point where we're not letting people give out their money or losing a large sum of money. We get it in instances where people claim that they're having their home remodeled and they need cash to pay the contractor. That's out of the ordinary. First, you don't want to pay in cash. It's dangerous. You want to be able to have proof of payment so that way you can show that I did pay for this and maybe the job isn't finished. So there are a lot of reasons why you don't want to, pay a contractor $25,000 in cash for home repair. And most contractors aren't going to ask for that either. They're going to, especially the legitimate ones, they're going to want that a check or a cashier's check for proof of payment so that they don't get accused of anything. So, but in this questionnaire, one of the first things that's asked, and a lot of people haven't really thought about this until recently, is write on a note to the customer, is someone listening to this? Are you on the phone? A lot of instances, our customers are threatened that if they get off the phone, that there will be consequences. And that may be that they will be arrested, or that this one-time deal for a investment will be gone. So they do not want, sometimes they give them the lie to tell to the bank. So we want to make sure they're not on the phone. And we've had that. We've had where we ask that question, and you can look for signs of deception or even signs that they are nervous. And that would be a good indicator. Okay, we need to slow down a little bit and make sure, may I see your phone? Make sure that no one's on the phone. But then we want to ask questions to make sure that this isn't for some type of family emergency. Because there are times that people communicate via social media, and that social media may have been hacked or taken over, and they think they're sending money to a family member when they're actually not. So it's always important that if a family member or friend reaches out to you on social media, call them with the number that you already had. Make sure that that number, is still active, and your friend or family member may answer, and you'll know right away that they are not in trouble, or, they're not have been arrested or in need for medical assistance. So, slowing down and doing things like that. But these are all instances where this questionnaire has been utilized by Frontline to say, okay, there's a problem. Then they get fraud on the line, and then we can talk to them and try to get them to stop.
When do y'all get involved in that? Because I know our tellers, our personal bankers, our relationship managers all have relationships with the client. I'll watch up, and one in particular, I hear her reference people by name daily. Anytime I go there, like she just knows the person, the client. And so that's a first line of defense, right? She's going to understand if something's off. And so if there is a red flag, what are the steps that you guys are going to take? You mentioned that you do engage with clients.
We do. We do. A lot of the time, if there's momentum, so to speak, if our frontline or in-branch personnel are making progress, then we want them to keep going. And a lot of the time, even yesterday, we got notification that the fraud questionnaire was used to identify and stop a wire that was going to be sent out for a large amount of money. So if they're able to keep going and get that done, then by all means, keep going and notify us after the fact. If the customer is not willing to share information, we would like an opportunity to talk to them in a private office, because sometimes if it's out in the lobby or somewhere, that could be embarrassing for somebody. And so it's important that if they are not budging and there are indications that they're nervous, they're playing with their face or their hair, or they're, moving their hands a lot. There are a lot of different indications that can say, okay, we need to slow down. Let's try to get them into an office. And if a manager can't, talk to them and convince them, then they can get us on the phone and we can try. Because it's important to understand, too, that when you're talking to somebody, one-way communication isn't always the right way. And sometimes people just kind of, butt heads. And if that's going on, it's important to get somebody else involved that can start over and see if they can make some progress.
Yeah, that's a great point. we're on your team, right? Like, and we're here for you. So, thank you so much for coming in today.
Absolutely.
And
My pleasure.
and Bryan and I didn't know each other prior to this. You know, we're a big team, and so it's been nice talking with you and getting to know you a little bit, and just understand that we're a great asset. We have a great team to protect you and your assets. So, come in and see us. We're pretty easy to access.
Absolutely.
Except when you're a fraudster.
Except when you're a fraudster.